Awesome. So thank you for your time, Hardens, because I know that you are super, super busy. But I really want to start off with a little bit of your story, if you can, because I think that it is a pretty phenomenal one. And usually those that come on, one of the first questions I ask is, how long have you been in real estate? And I actually think that that's a really cool story, or really good place to start with you guys. So let's start there. Welcome. How long have you guys been in real estate?
So I started in real estate and I worked for another company for a few years, and then I wasn't paid properly. And
that's an experience I think a lot of people have, unfortunately, in the industry.
Yeah, but it was actually the best thing that happened to me. My old boss ripped me off of about 6 figures, and it made me that cranky that I left the industry for just under 2 years, about 20 months. And then I really missed it. I really enjoyed what I did. So Alex the whole time was at me saying, we need to do this ourselves.
Come on, we can do this better.
Yeah, and he so in the end he ended up talking me back into it, and I really did miss it. I really love real estate. I really love dealing with the people. So in November 2019 we started our own business.
Wow.
And yeah, so I'd had almost 2 years out of the industry. We had no pipeline. We had no money.
This is where I wanted to go with it, Felicity, because you guys have that really powerful story, but you also have a lot of objections that you have overcome, I guess, in your story as well. And objections that I quite often get when I'm talking to agents, such as, I don't have a database. I haven't sold anything in the area. I don't have any money to start a business. Oh no, I can't do that because that name isn't well known out there, and so I definitely can't list and sell property. All of these things, I'm like,
all of those. Even the industry, even the company that I worked for before, it was one of the real estate companies where you're not actually allowed to promote yourself. So it was always my phone number wasn't out there, my name wasn't out there, my photo wasn't out there. As far as realestate.com and RMA are concerned, I had never sold a property because it was always listed under the agency. So I had no name. And then I had 2 years out of the industry. Yep. And so literally no database, no pipeline, no name.
We're not even from Queensland.
We're not from Queensland. We're both from New South Wales. So we have no circle of influence in Queensland.
When we started, I had about 8 Facebook friends. Felicity had about 10 or 11. 12.
Yeah.
So
and we didn't
20
use
between
Facebook.
us.
We hated Facebook.
Every objection that everyone's ever given me
and
part of this phenomenal story.
A lot of debt.
Major debt.
We would cringe over, can we afford $50 to spend on this?
When people say they don't have money and they can still use a credit card, we couldn't use a credit card.
Yeah.
So when you say we start from nothing, literally it was beyond nothing, literally under nothing.
Major negatives.
Yeah.
Wow. And I guess you've learned a lot throughout your time, even though it has, we're not talking 15 years here, but I think that you guys you've got a lot of successes, but I look at really successful people when I say, yeah, I know that they have had to fail in order to succeed. They have had to learn in order to get there. So I guess for yourselves or for other people within the industry, what are some of the massive mistakes that you see being made?
Oh, you know what the biggest one is? And we were totally, it's still something we struggle with today. But the biggest thing is everyone wants everything to be perfect. And they're so busy focusing on the wrong things that they're not actually starting to take the actions that are going to bring success. So you're better off just going in and it not being 100%, going as good as you can, but start and then work on it. You can always change it. You can we've changed our branding 3 times now.
Yeah. Don't worry about your business cards. Don't worry about your signage. Don't worry about any of that stuff.
Oh, I can't talk to anybody yet because I don't have a website. Well, you know what? Realistically, you don't actually need a website. Create a Facebook page. Done.
I can't talk to anyone because I haven't done and I haven't got and I'm waiting on and the brand isn't and that's not right. And you are so right. Everybody puts a massive big brick wall in front of themselves and goes, oh, I can't because, but really we're just giving I often find we give ourselves excuses out of fear.
Yeah. I think one of the big things as well, like I really have imposter syndrome.
Me too.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
One of the massive challenges I think I find that, you know, even at the beginning, it was like, who do I think I am that I'm good enough to do this out on our own, or that we're good enough together to do this? Like I have a lot of, you know, obviously I'm very, very lucky. I have an amazing partner and a very clever man here who does so much as well from like a marketing perspective. And so I never doubt his abilities and what he's going to be able to bring to the table. But it's like, for me, I'm like, well, what if he gets me leads and then I can't convert them? Or, you know, who am I that I think that I can do this out on my own? And yet, funnily enough, it's one of those things where you kind of handle it as it comes. And it's actually what you imagine is so much worse than the truth of it.
We envisioned like the world imploding, but it really doesn't.
Yeah. And
it really doesn't. I get that.
Well, especially like in our situation now, we have people, if we have a major concern or don't know the answer, we actually have people that we can ask the question about and get a genuine answer, and people genuinely try and help us, which is very rare in this industry. But I think, like, even moving backwards to what I was saying before, was at the moment, like we've been in hyper growth for almost 2 years. We're experiencing extreme success from a lot of hard work. It's not just lucky.
Yeah. People just often see the success though, and I know how hard it is to get you guys on the phone because I'm not a seller and I'm not a buyer, and that's actually acceptable. Completely.
But yeah, it's even the more success, and we're just like having a ridiculous success at the moment. For example, in the last 7 days, I've got 4 new listings signed up. I actually have a waiting list of people that I'm bringing on the market, and I'm trying to see who I can squeeze in where without taking away from other people. So it's a really cool thing.
I love that. Pause there. That's actually a moment. And you don't even realize it because most people are transactional agents and they don't do that. I'm trying to see who else I can squeeze in without taking service away from anyone else. That's actually a moment. Sorry, Felicity.
That's all right.
So I always say that we're not transactional agents, but we transact a hell of a lot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I'm well aware of this. You are, and I love the words extreme success because that's just, you know, truth there. But I also know how hard you guys work.
Thank you. But I think what, like, for me at the moment, even one of the biggest challenges is we are experiencing this really high level of success, and it's more than what either of us dreamed of, even after last year's success. So I think, but for me at the moment, I actually even am encountering the issue of having a bit of what if, okay, we've just brought on this many listings. I was saying to Alex the other night, I'm really worried that we're not going to get the results I want for every client. Now the market's crazy. Like we're exceeding everybody's expectations left and right. I'm like, I'm really worried that I'm not going to get the results that I want to help these people move on with their life. And then I'm like, and I'm really stressed. Well, not stressed, but like I'm stressing out about how many people we have, and if there's a lockdown or something, you know, the pivoting that it will take. Like we'll still be able to do the like sell
because you care so much, because you're invested.
Yeah,
in this story.
What if we can't do this? And then I'm going, and then what if I can't keep bringing on this many listings? And what if, like, I suddenly stop being able to list people and I suck?
I don't see that happening, but I do understand the who am I to do this, you know, particularly when you look at the industry as a whole. And I personally love that you're like Alex even says to me, no, Felicity's the agent, she's the face, she's push her out the front. I love that because as a female who's been in the industry for 15 years, and we all know, you know, how that's sort of played out and the stories in behind it. We're all agents here. I love that. I think that's phenomenal. And I love the more success you have, the better it is, in my opinion, because it's just awesome to watch. And it really has proven to me, watching your success, guys, that yeah, it's always going to take hard work. The fundamentals of real estate will ultimately come back to the same thing, like communication, actually understanding people's story, listening, not being transactional, but don't tell them all the secret. Okay. I just love what you guys stand for, what you're about, and I love that you've overcome basically every objection that I get from any agent that I talk to about doing something like this. So I guess my next question to you guys is, if you are already experiencing so much success, why choose to park your business with eXp? You were already successful.
Yeah. I guess because the thing is, like, again, when you are experiencing that much growth, like for us, it's about also getting that support and not palming off, but, you know, getting support in the areas that we don't need to actually be a part of, as well as then also we get a lot out of actually giving to other people and you know, helping out with that. So just sharing our success, because then that helps us to grow even more, because it sort of solidifies what we do. As well as not only that, we learn more from that.
We actually learn more as well.
You know, we're growing a team. So for us, like, again, most businesses think that, like, okay, in order for me to get bigger and grow, I've actually got to grow a team. I've actually got to employ people. I've got to do that. We were able to do that without actually employing people. So we're building our own team across Australia to help.
Well, this is the thing. So when we initially started, like, eXp wasn't even in Australia yet. We started a couple of months before eXp came to Australia, and people say, you know, what would you change if you could start again? What would you change? Like, the only thing that I would actually change would be that we would have eXp come to Australia sooner. We would hear about eXp sooner, and we would never have actually had to go out on our own to start with, because we didn't have support. We didn't have the questions. Like, we couldn't get questions answered. Real estate as an industry, eXp agents that we know aside, real estate is an industry they don't share. They don't want to help each other. They're too scared of each other to actually support one another.
There's a scarcity mentality across the industry.
And I think
we don't have that, hey?
No. It's like somebody asked a question. It's like, oh my God, how can I help? Here's an idea. Here's an idea. Here's an idea.
And I learned so much from just coming to your icon sessions as well in terms of training. I know it's not just me, it's everybody throughout eXp learns so much from you guys, but I think we all learn from each other and we're all willing to help. And it's almost like, really?
Yeah, because everybody's got their strengths. Like, there's, you know, some things that we want to develop areas in, and it's not our forte, you know, but then someone in eXp, either whether it be an icon or non-icon, it doesn't matter. You actually get to learn from them because they're happy to share.
Yeah.
I think the why of eXp, it reduced our costs so significantly, like
majorly.
By, I can't even think what a percentage is. I'm not that good at math, but, you know,
it was a tenth, literally a tenth for us. For the way we ran our business, it was about a tenth of the cost per month. We also, again, like, we didn't have to do the trust accounting, so that was a time saver and also a cost saver
and a stress saver.
Auditing of trust accounts.
Yeah.
So that, like, it basically meant that because we had so much success early on, which we didn't expect, and not everyone's going to have that same. Not everyone wants that same level of success, right?
And that's cool.
Yeah, you can. The beauty is you can do as much or as little as you want, provided you meet the requirements by law, like in each state. But I think one of the things for us as well, we were getting so much success, we didn't have processes because we're out on our own. And now we have a lot more processes. We've had support there. But the other big thing was that it meant that we didn't have to spend time or energy on things that weren't dollar productive, but were absolutely requirements of running a real estate business. So we have people at head office who actually sort that out for us. We no longer have to worry about that. We can focus on the things that we are good at, the things that are generating income for us. And it just reduces the risk. It means that we are working towards having a better work-life balance, a better lifestyle. That's still a work in progress for us.
There's a lot of automation that we weren't even, I suppose, not that we were aware about, but we didn't even have time to look into it. Whereas eXp looked into it for us and then made it as an offering.
eXp, Emily
looked into it. And I guess, some of them were, we got for free, we got Home Pass Premium as part of,
That's been a game changer.
For us, game changer.
I think that's one of the key components too, is for me as an agent, take my corporate hat off, being part of something where you're invited to have a seat at the table, where you can actually call the person running the show and go, hey, I've had this really cool idea. Can you look into it and like come back to me on whether or not it's going to be worth it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or they come to you and say, hey, boy, we've got something awesome. This is awesome for lead gen, or it's awesome for this. And you don't have to spend that time. You're right.
Yeah. Somebody else looks into it for you. And then either it's like hey guys, can we get some feedback on what you guys think? Or, hey, by the way, here, we've just upgraded your subscription. You're getting this, it's extra, and you don't even have to pay for it. It's there if you want to use it.
And you're like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, like Home Pass, right? Home Pass Premium. We just got, and it's a little while ago now, but like there was an email. By the way, here you go. And we're like, what?
Thank you. Because somebody asked, and we went, is that something we need? Why do we need that? Okay, good, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important moving forward, because everybody's used to something different in that space. Here are the rules, stick to them. Oh, I've decided upon this. Whereas we're all in this together. There's no real hierarchy. And that's a really cool thing too. We're all business partners.
Yeah. And we're all like, we're all equally involved in trying to make each other successful, or if somebody has a question or has an issue, we want each other to be successful, because it's actually beneficial for not just us, but it's beneficial for them. It's beneficial for the industry. It's beneficial for each of our clients as well. So it's a really different mentality. It's more like an abundance mentality where everyone's willing to share and be really helpful. And it's just so cool.
It's very different.
It is. It does create that family vibe. And, like I know lots of people say that with a grain of salt, but it really, I feel close to many, many of my colleagues, and I've not met very many of them.
Yeah.
You've been locked in your house for too long.
Yes, I have. Hopefully that's coming to an end. Bless anyone who's listening and who's from Victoria. One of the other things that I wanted to ask you guys before I let you go, because I know that your time is precious, you do a lot of different things, and I've learned that throughout. Like you guys are unique, and I think that's one of your actual key selling points, if you will, is we don't do any of that. We're not even on that same playing field. So we're way over here, and this is how cool our field and playground is. And here's how and why. Just not go into it, but drop a couple of the key things that has really worked for you guys over the past couple of years. What are some of the things that have worked for you, whether it be social media, actually communicating with people? Maybe it's, I just simply pick up the phone when people call. What are your golden nuggets?
Initially we started with social media, so that was the big kickstart for us, was transactional social, and it's still driving us. Like we now have got a fair bit of percentage coming through where we sell real estate on social media, and solely on that before it even hits the market. So, and
we have vendors who've seen our marketing on social media and want their properties marketed on social media as well, and they contact us through it. So it's a really good tool for not only getting really great sales people, getting really great results and quickly, but also for finding new sellers.
Yeah, because the lead generation
because I'm certain one day I'm going to buy one of your properties from Facebook just because I'm always doing this.
And it always comes up on your feed, and it's just meant to be.
Yes, I love it. And you've had someone actually walk into a property and say, it's just always coming up on my feed. It just must be meant to be.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here, but yeah, I just kept coming up on my feed. Not sure why I'm here, but I'll just have a look through, end up buying the property.
Yeah.
So
cool. So probably, definitely social media.
Yeah, and again, it was a good for when you don't have money. Again, social media, like Facebook advertising, Instagram advertising was one of the cheapest lead gens, other than doing things like pick up the phone, obviously. Which Felicity, again, we the reason why Felicity didn't want to come back in, there was several reasons to come back in the industry, but one of them was I don't want to go out and door knock. I don't want to be doing cold calls. I don't want to be doing any of that. So it was finding
Me
a way
either.
in order not to do
Thank
that.
you.
Because if you don't have money, obviously those are things you can do that aren't going to cost you to actually come back in the industry and you know, be able to generate leads. But you know, social media was a tool that we use and we still use now to generate cost-effective, you know, seller leads.
I think another big thing that we found is treating buyers with respect,
especially at the moment.
Yeah,
buyers matter. They're tomorrow's sellers or today's sellers.
Today's sellers.
In this market, a lot of people who already have property, they, you know, in order to upgrade or upsize or even downsize, like they do actually need to cash out of their investment. They might sell one and buy two. You don't know. And it's just, one of the really cool things as well that we've been able to do in the last few months is eXp's partnered with Lulu Live. So now we're actually growing a rent roll as well. And I think we've added like 6 or 7 properties to our rent roll this month. We don't even have to worry about it. These people are going to be future sellers that we get like unfettered access to.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's costing us nothing. Like that's the other thing. It doesn't cost us anything. We're actually making money out of it. We're building an asset and it's costing us nothing.
Yeah. So like part of our goal, like part of our long-term goal is to actually build a machine, which essentially it does its own prospecting. It does like, we are almost like a little ecosystem within ourselves that it will be a self-sustaining machine. And that will allow us to have like continue helping our clients, continue helping other agents, have actually got a lifestyle that we want to have and have a really great income.
I love it. And you can do all of that here. And that's amazing.
And more.
I love it. Well, I want to say, unless you guys have any like parting words of wisdom, I want to say thank you for your time. And I also want to say to anybody who is watching, all you simply need to do is get on Facebook and put in Harden Property. There is no way that these guys won't pop up. And anything that they have said today, I promise you, I haven't prepped them, nor have they given me an invoice for all the good stuff that they've said. And just give them a call, have a really organic conversation with them because they're phenomenal. And I learn a lot from you guys with everything that you do. So thank you.
Thank you. And we learn a lot from you too. You're very giving. Just to say, like,
this is like what we actually have here. How cool is it?
It is so cool. I think, like, also, if anybody does have any issues, something that they're trying to deal with a buyer or seller that they are struggling with at the moment, feel free to shoot me a message or an email or give me a call. Probably call's the hardest thing because I
don't call.
It is. I do miss a lot of calls and I get back to a lot of people.
Yeah, send her a message. A text message.
Yeah. Text message is really good. I'll get back to you. I will get back to you. But if you do have something that you need to overcome where you are struggling with something to get it over the line, I'm happy to help.
No, I love it.
And that's the thing, like literally, like any excuse that anybody has, we've probably been there and done that. Like, and we've actually gone past that. It's just a roadblock in your own head. That's all it is.
And I love that you guys have so much to give to so many people and your team is absolutely going to explode. And I'm telling you right now, if I was in Queensland, I would love to work with Team Harden. So thank you guys. I really appreciate all of your time today.
Thank you.
All right. We will kick on to all of the good things and follow through from, I guess, what Alex and Felicity have, already said. So welcome to All Things eXp Australia. We'll kick right into it. There are a couple of different ways in which people can join. So first of all, we have the independent contractor. Now you'll notice Felicity and Alex there, they are Harden Property, powered by eXp Australia, clearly independent contractors, which means that you need to be fully licensed. And of course, you'll need to carry your own insurance. Allows you to have your own brand, lots of sort of different tax stuff in there as well, which I won't go into because I'm definitely not an accountant. And there is another way that you can also join eXp, and that is as a commission-only agent. So you will see subject to eligibility next to that. What we're talking about there is over the last 3 years, inside of a 12-month time frame, you need to be able to prove that you have earned $60,000 or more in sales commissions. Now, it's definitely not our rules. They are the rules though. However, some of the commission-only agents, and I'll go into this as we talk through this, are very much making their name their brand, if you will, and I'll show you how they're doing that. We do have some other options that are available for large teams, business owners. Of course, we're licensed in the 5 states that you see on the screen there, and of course would need to carry trust accounts in those particular states. So we have heard a little bit of the background of the Hardens and their story and why they made the decision. If they were already doing wonderfully well, they already had their business set up, why would they choose to park their business with eXp? And you heard some of their answers to that. So there are no desk fees, there are no royalty fees, there are no franchise fees, and it's super clean cut. Everybody comes in at a 75 to the agent, 25 to eXp split. Okay. They then cap when they bring in their first $100,000 of GCI. Now, I want to let you all know that it took Felicity, who was just on screen with us, and Alex, a very, very short space of time to cap this year. And therefore, within that short space of time, they were at 75%, but of course, they capped very quickly, which meant they were on 100% for the remainder of their calendar year. So just to reiterate that, if I start in January, I start on 75%. Once I bring in, let's say it takes me till March to bring in my first $100,000 of GCI, then from March all the way through to next January, I maintain 100% of my own commission. I reiterate that because sometimes people don't really understand that we have a capped model. So as an agent, it doesn't matter what you're writing. It might be $1 million a year, 500 a year, 200 a year. It doesn't matter because we'll support you in what you would like out of your business and for yourself, okay? But all you're paying to eXp out of that commission is $25 per 12-month period. So to reiterate that, at 500, you keep $475. At 900, you keep $875. Makes sense. There are only 3 standard costs inside of eXp, right? $199 plus GST as an initial startup fee, $199 plus GST as your monthly service fee. That gives you everything that you will need to run your real estate business, and I will go into that in further detail. And the only other fee is a settlement or transaction fee at $250 plus GST when you transact property. That's it. Really super simple. I do want to talk about some of the opportunities that we do have within eXp, however, and you will often see the phrase agent owned and agent grown. You heard us talk about being in sort of partnership with each other, okay? So I'll talk about this in 3 different ways. The sustainable equity plan basically means when you do your first transaction, when you cap, and when you introduce somebody to your team and they do their first transaction, you will be gifted shares. Now, those shares actually sit in the back end of my phone. I do most of my work on my phone inside an app, and you can actually see your shares, what can be traded now, what is in a vesting period. And I just want to bring that up because in the past at different companies, I have been offered shares that never really came to fruition. They were magical shares that didn't exist. So I want to reiterate, they're real and they're in here. Your Icon Agent Award. Now, you would have heard Felicity talk about being an Icon Agent, or maybe she didn't bring it up. I probably brought it up. So an Icon Agent, there are some qualifications to get to that point. And if you go further into, the eXp scenario, it'll definitely pop up a number of different times. But the way eXp functions is pretty smart. So if you hit a certain capping, then you keep 100%. If you then reach that next phenomenal tier, that would be icon status. And what that means is that eXp would gift you back a number of shares, almost equivalent to what you've paid into eXp. I know. They would gift those back to you. Okay. For that, however, and you heard Felicity talk about this, what we want is some cultural requirements inside of there, and you see that on the screen. So when we talk about the sharing of gold and or golden nuggets, we really are in that space of sharing. I think that we probably would anyway, but the cool thing is that we're all actually incentivized to share, and share some more. So it's a pretty cool place to be. And then you can also be part of the agent equity program, where you choose to put 5% of every net transaction commission into stock at a 10% discount. So there are a number of agents that actually do that. And look, there are some that don't as well, and that's cool too. Now you'll see Felicity's lovely face there, and along with a number of other icon agents. We are missing a really cool super person, so I want to reiterate and make mention of that person. Lee Martinuzzi from Queensland has also recently iconed, and we haven't put him as part of the super lineup, so we absolutely cannot forget him as we're talking about those superstars. As Felicity would have said though, and I heard her say this, no, we're all superstars, icon or not. So I love that. One of the other things that you actually heard Felicity talking about is the revenue share as well. And I guess the ability to be able to open an office without the risk, without all the overheads, without employing someone, having the trust accounts done for you, but actually still being able to benefit or reward and help people, because that's what we're all about. So let's just say, for instance, I wasn't already a part of this wonderful business and I was a Queensland agent and I saw Team Harden. I'd absolutely love to be a part of their team where they helped me, they became my mentor, if you will. And of course, you know, I would actually be happy to pay them myself. However, you will note on the screen there, any revenue share is paid in company dollars. And that's one of the cool things. So for every person that you introduce, you will get up to 3.5% gross commission, up until capping, of course, because once they're getting 100% and we're getting absolutely nothing, which is super cool, then we have nothing to share with you. It does get bigger and better, and there's more and more sharing, however, and you will notice that as we go into the next few slides. So you'll see there's the next tier. So if I became part of Team Harden, amazing, then they can help me, but then I'm also going to grow a team, right? Felicity could be helping not just me, but my team as well. And she's actually going to benefit from the people that I introduce that also transact. Why? Because she introduced and mentored me, and she should be rewarded. It shouldn't just go to one person at the top. Here's how that looks as a sort of a cascading revenue share, if you will. I do want to reiterate and make mention of the right-hand column here, all right? And you would need to introduce around 40 agents yourself in order to unlock all 7 tiers. That's absolutely not going to happen overnight. And of course, we want to build our teams with people that we want to work with people that we know, like, and trust, because that's who people generally choose to do business with as well. However, when someone showed that to me, I went, as an agent, went, oh yeah, that's fine, but what does that actually mean for me? Because you're just talking a bunch of numbers. So here's what that could look like for me. If I introduced 10 agents, and then that doubled, and then that doubled again, I would be getting the 100 that you see on the screen, plus the 80, plus the 35. So you can understand how, as your team grows over time in the right way, with the right people, and understanding that, of course, we have a huge responsibility when we choose to bring those people into our team. we're responsible for them changing their lives and their businesses. So, some might want a little bit of help, some may require a little bit more. And of course, Felicity brought this up herself. Better have a disclaimer in there. Not everybody is going to have exactly the same success. It absolutely takes hard work. Of course, we also like to have massive recognition and celebration of all of our wonderful people, because that's just who we are here at eXp. And we have some amazing, amazing agents. We have a national monthly meeting, and we go across state by state and nationally, who's top listers, sellers, cultural awards, GCIs, you name it, it's in there. We acknowledge capped agents, icon agents, and it's a pretty cool place to be. You will also note that Felicity, while she was speaking, made reference to a certain company called Lulu Live that they have chosen to partner with. Now, it is absolutely hassle-free. The other thing is, and they are looking at going national over time, and New South Wales is next, followed by Victoria. These guys are phenomenal. Basically, as an agent, I can build a rent roll. I can have these guys service that rent roll in a really fantastic way. The top end technology, as you can see there. I don't really, even want to make money from that at this point in time. I'm really looking to build an asset. They can also help you build that asset. So you're not even the one necessarily building that asset for yourself. It's just, as we were talking to Felicity and Alex, it's just mind-boggling. You're sort of scratching your head going, really? So I just wanted to talk about some of the agent services, because it's, again, important to understand what you're going to get for that $199 plus GST per month. So we operate majorly inside Workplace by Facebook. I have access to 67,000+ agents, including the CEO, the founder of eXp over in the US. Absolutely everybody. I can message them, I can video them. It's super. It's a really, really cool product that I probably didn't even take any notice of when we first started. We've got all our groups in here. We've got referral groups. We've got announcements. We've got eXp University. You name it, it's in there, and it's a pretty cool system. We also utilize AgentBox as our CRM system. As an agent, I don't like CRM systems that are too hard to use. I am absolutely not a tech guru. I like to sort of understand the basics, and you'll understand if you're out there listening to me as an agent that we all don't utilize our CRMs to 100% of their capacity. Perhaps, one day we will. However, this is a great system. I think 70% of the top 100 agents across Australia use it. Some really great coaches out there. Tom Panos actually even says that this is a great product to use. So, not going to argue with him. I do want to reiterate, though, that AgentBox is not just a CRM. It really does integrate with absolutely everything that we are utilising and continue to utilise. I'm going to go through some of the stuff that are and maybe are not part of what you will absolutely get. Okay, so REA, absolutely you're going to get access to realestate.com.au and domain, and of course your eXp Australia websites. You'll also get an eXp email. Campaign Track, I don't really utilise. I'm not really sure a lot of our agents are utilising that. Campaign Flow is a third-party marketing scenario where if your clients are not going to pay for that marketing up front, then they can actually put that through Campaign Flow. Listing Logic is a really fantastic service that I myself am using. You can use that as, part of your VPA to get that out to, the world, if you will, like sort of Felicity was talking about. I think they do this themselves. I'm also trialing this as a lead generation scenario at the moment, so it's a pretty cool system. Proposal Point is something that's not included with your subscription. However, we do have a Word version if you do want that. Some people have chosen to do a little bit of an upgrade themselves for $40 a month, and it just basically draws everything in from CoreLogic RP data, which you absolutely have access to. And in Victoria, you have an upgrade there as well, and just makes it look all pretty. Proposal point. REA forms, REI forms, or RealWorks is absolutely goes without saying. You need to have, access to absolutely every form that you could possibly need. There is an e-signing component in there as well that you can have. Active Pipe is actually, and I'll go into this in more depth. Active Pipe is a back-end scenario for your database, if you will, that is going to communicate to your database in a way that I guess you tell it to, and you can utilize that from I'm really hands-on with Active Pipe, or you can do a little bit of a me, and I'll put my hand up and say I did not go in every single week and change everything. I let it sort of run its course, and so either is okay. Office 365, look, we absolutely won't give you your own Office 365, but everything will connect through to your Office 365. And Felicity sort of already alluded to the fact that, of course, we have Home Pass, and absolutely we have an upgrade to that Home Pass account as well. Now we have gone into a little bit of the lead migration model, but I'll just go through this to reiterate it to you, because there are a couple of sort of components that I have spoken about that I do think are really important. So obviously we're going to use social media or some sort of social media in some sort of capacity to capture those leads. We're going to need to then store them inside a CRM system. They're going to then need to be nurtured in order for those leads to be extracted. So how does that look inside eXp, or how can it look inside of eXp? And you'll notice that Alex and Felicity, really made reference to the fact that they spend a whole lot less time finding these wonderful things, because we're sort of doing it for them and then going, hey, here's this on a platter. Do you want? Do you not want? So you'll notice that I have made reference to listing logic. Okay, so we can either use listing logic to gain those leads, okay, or you can use your own lead generation scenario. Of course, those leads then are stored into Agent Box. From there, you can use either, you can use your own things as well. This is just part of what we deliver to our agents. And then you can use either a combination of both or one or the other in terms of Active Pipe and or Reca. Now, Active Pipe I spoke about, and that's basically going to talk to your database. It's going to email them out some really great stuff. You can change that, you can not change that, that's up to you. And that will automatically start to extract some leads. We also now have Reca, which is phenomenal, really. And what Reca does is, Reca is almost like a PA. Reca I refer to as almost a human person, because she is artificially intelligent and almost has AI conversations as if Reca were me. Now, when Reca no longer understands the conversation and cannot proceed, she'll flick that out to you as a lead to do something with. Our agents are loving it. Sometimes they're getting 4 vowels a day, sometimes it's more than that, sometimes it's less, but again, pretty amazing way of making sure that you're extracting those leads from your database. We also do have a scenario to help with databasing for those of you out there listening that don't currently have a database, and then we've got a sort of scenario in between if you want to purchase more data, nurture and look after as well. So whatever it is, we've got you covered. I wanted to show you a little, visual there of that digital proposal that you can choose to have for yourself. I think it's about $40 a month, and it just drags all that information from RP data and makes it look all pretty, as you see there on the screen. eXp Agent Hub. Goes without saying, guys, we need somewhere to absolutely house all of our information. So where is it? On Agent Hub. Where do I access Agent Hub? Definitely on my phone. It is pinned to my mobile. Whatever I need, it is in there. From, you name it, it's in there, from marketing to lead gen to webinars that have done, to every icon training session that's been done that I can go back, and that's an entire training platform for people that I can just gift to them. It's amazing. You heard me talk before about my eXp and where everything is basically housed. So yes, I can see my shares through Shareworks. Also growing a team, we need to understand where the team is at, what they're writing, how much revenue share I'm going to be paid out that particular month. And so my eXp is also in that back end scenario, so that you can see how many people do I have in my team, where are they at, how can I help them, how can I support them, and what is that going to return to me for all of that wonderful help this particular month. I call them magical money days, because I almost feel like I'm like giving this wonderful gift and I haven't like even earned it. So stationery, business cards, I always use the black background cards and signboards, just because I love them. It's my personal preference. You'll see the lovely Bjorn there, and Bjorn really has his name pop out as so he's commission only agent. He has his name really pop out as his brand, and he does that in a really exciting way within his marketplace. You can also go, of course, a co-brand scenario, whether you're powered by or in association with eXp, and you've got a couple of different options inside of that as well. There are some difference to cards out there floating around at the same time, but these are our sort of stock standard scenario. Again, I love the black background with the boards. We've got the commission only scenario on the left hand side there. We've got your sort of co-brand scenario in the middle there. But of course, we've got a number of people, much like the Hardens, who already have their own brand up and running. They're very similar colors to us. They've got some really cool looking blue in there as well, where you might have your own look and feel. You might have bright golden boards, bright pink boards, powered by or in association with eXp, and that's cool too. There's a little bit more customization in there, but that's cool too. I like to say that your hands aren't as tied at eXp, and it's really about the agents for the agents. So hopefully by now, after listening to myself and after listening to Felicity and Alex, you start to see some of the core values come out that you do see on your screen. And I'm not going to go into them. I really do believe that our people act those out just naturally every single day, because they're what I call eXp people, if that makes any sense to any of you listening. So the next steps are, of course, if you are interested, that is fantastic. You can go to expaustralia.com.au, click on this Join eXp. Now, I want to reiterate, you're not signing up for anything. You can't break it. It will just give you a copy of the contract to read through once I have approved you. But it will let me know that you are in that particular Join app. Scroll down to Become an Agent, click I'm ready to go, and fill out all the information. It will then let me know that, hey, I'm a little bit interested. I want to have a little bit more of a chat, and that's super. And then I'll give you a call, no doubt, because you'll all be amazing if you're here on this webinar. I'll then approve you, and then it will give you a copy of the contract to read. If from there you want to proceed, absolutely, then you can e-sign your contract, and we'll get into the onboarding scenario. If you have more questions, the Hardens are, as I said, not hard to find. Absolutely not. Just give them a little Google. You can touch base with myself, or go back to the person that introduced you to this particular webinar today. We're all here to help. We're all here to answer your questions. And I always say, hey, eXp is absolutely for everybody. Maybe just not right now for some people, because we're all in different spaces of our business. So unless we have any questions, what I am going to do is stop the recording now.